Where are we? Best deer hunting in the country, they say. So this backdrop is not what you're used to seeing with us at the Whitetail Group. We are here in Comanche County, Kansas. Me and a group of good friends bought this ranch out here. It's kind of surreal, but it's a giant ranch. It's 5,700 acres. So we're here this week. I have a rifle tag. We're gonna be hunting, but we're kind of getting our head wrapped around the whole farm, some of these setups, how we're gonna develop it a little bit. We're getting these cameras out, kind of a nice even spread. These deer are mega giants out here. I mean, it's the top producing place in the country right now. And I cannot wait to find some of them and see them in real life. So a lot of this is new to me, obviously, but I know this is what they do. I mean, I grew up down south when I was a little kid hunting behind dogs, and everybody does certain things in certain areas, and this is the game out here. There's a lot of setups that came kind of done on the ranch, things that we're gonna tweak just a little bit, little layers of micro strategy, access, ingress, egress, getting into these spots without you know, maybe bumping the deer that are on a feeder. Right now we're in intel mode. You know, it's like hanging a camera on a big scrape back home. We're trying to up our odds of finding one in one of these nooks and crannies. This is too sweet to not show you. We talk about concentrations of scent and where that sign blows up scrapes and rubs back in the Midwest all the time. Thinking like a deer, they come through an area in the dark, they're using their nose, boom, they're hitting the face with all this scent, they get rambunctious and just start tearing things up and marking territory. And this is a classic example of it. It's an hourglass fence post that's just been absolutely destroyed. And you got a fence that goes as far as the eye can see that way, and it turns and goes as far as you can see that way. And it's just a wicked pinch where there's probably a ton of scent. I think we need to bring some beefier treecoys out here with us. We're gonna plan on getting a treecoy out at each one of these. I bet them things will get tore up. Out here in Kansas, the water is so key. This ranch has tons of water on it. It's got water, you know, water troughs. It's got springs and creeks and ponds, and it's just got a ton of water. I mean, that's beautiful down there. The house, I mean, this morning was crawling with deer. There was 3 deer over, you know, 135, 140, maybe one of them. We've had the cams going now one night, which was a chore, just keeping up with them. Had to change the delay. But the deer, it's just unbelievable, the number of bucks. And we have some superstars on camera already. I mean, superstar young deer. Right now, the way that the ranch is kind of set up, you know, it's awesome, obviously, but you know, you get in the blind, you got deer in there, you get out and blow them out. So we're just gonna do some tweaking, you know, moving the blind up on this knob, grabbing some cedars with the tree puller, making a little screen around the front. A lot of these blinds are gonna end up being real short on the crest of a hill so that you can get out and scoot out the back without getting seen. A lot of ingress and especially egress stuff. A lot of the ingress stuff is it's big. You don't want to get seen as you're walking in, and then the egress stuff is all about the setup and just being able to pop out. When you set those blinds up to where you can get out of them in the evening, it also means you've got a better chance of getting into them in the morning, especially out here in this sand. It's super quiet walking, you know. One of the setups we looked at yesterday, kind of makes a little more sense to move it here to the north, so we're going to slide up here and look at that. There's a big pocket of cover right here behind the main house, and then there's one up and over the hill, and there's a nice ridge here with anything west. We can leave the house, come right around and shoot right up on this top, and I think there's going to be a really good setup. Look at this. Look at this saddle here. I mean, this is a good spot regardless. And there's a brush here, brush there. feeder right here, and then put the blind right in those cedars right there. Clear a trail right straight down. We're gonna go back around to these spots, and I've got white stakes, and I'm staking exactly where the blind goes, exactly where the feeder goes. When we come out here with a group of guys to hammer, everything will be, you know, pin on onyx with some notes, stakes exactly where the setups go. This is pretty good access. There's a lot of ditches and stuff out here. And this is about our best access in here is this low spot and then pop up here. There was deer bedded in here that we didn't bump until we walked about 50 yards further. Use this tree as a little bit of cover. The blinds are scent free, but when you go open that window, sure is nice when thermals at prime time are pulling away every day, not even dependent on the wind direction. We're kind of strategically taking the cattle off of certain areas and then leaving them other areas where it makes sense for income. But that shows you what this ground will do after there's no cattle on it. Plus, this was a super dry year, and everybody says, you know, how short a lot of this warm season growth is, and that's what it'll look like. So right now, this setup is down there. Obviously, we're downhill all the way there. Even standing right here, we just blew a bunch of deer out of this hole, and you know, anything can see you that's bedded in that whole hillside. So right back here, the road's kind of just over that hump, and it's a nice steep hump. So we're gonna get the blind up there on a real low setup, and then have that feeder out on this side of it. And that way, every foot you come into the farm this way, you're just exponentially upping your chance of blowing deer like we just did. I mean, we're not even to the blind. I'm gonna walk over here and show you what this blind's gonna look like. That platform will be about this high. So right here, it feels like you can't even see, but you get that platform right here, and then you can see everything, and you can get in and out of here without, you know, you don't always have somebody to drive you right to the place. We're gonna try and get some big, huge food sources out here, crop type fields from farmers, hundreds of acres hopefully. And that's gonna be like our main holding power to keep these deer on the ranch. These spots with these feeders and stuff, they're gonna be in spots that have perfect access, wind that aligns with thermal draws prime time, and they're just gonna be more bow huntable, kind of like our little kill plots in Illinois. But the big food is gonna hold these deer, and these little feeder setups are gonna be the hunting spots. Got this massive field out here, and that's gonna be the core holding power of this south end of the ranch. And we've got basically all the chunks of cover around this field have these staging setups. And this one here kind of all clicked finally. There's a cliff right here below us, and that cliff winds around a half mile. And so these deer have to funnel out right in this area anyway, and then you got this long gradual point that goes down in, which happens to be centrally located between this several hundred acre cedar thicket. And it's also just a perfect travel corridor to come up here to the food. So we're gonna blow our wind off that cliff and let the thermals pull our wind off into that bottom, and then get this feeder kind of set up on the north side of it. Pile some cedars around, pile some cedars kind of right there around. Put the blind right behind it. And that way you can shoot right out there. There should be no deer back there because the cliff's right behind it. Anything north or straight west. And then we're gonna have, all our setups are gonna have permanent blinds, and we're gonna have 3 or 4 blinds on trailers, so that if you have a south wind and you need to come in here, you can hook up and bring it in and be set up right there. We don't want to have a north wind set up here and a south wind set up close by, because then you cut your odds in half of where he's going to. So it's better to think about the spots, you know, to where you can hunt it with a north or a south, even if you need to bring that second blind that's portable. It's like a hardwood ridge coming out in Illinois to the corner of a food plot. The other day when we came in here, we moved this blind because where it was, we had no ingress. And as luck would have it, when we rounded the bend to come into here, these deer were already marching across this field. And even though it's not perfectly set up, it was set up good enough that we were able to come in, crawl in from behind it and get up in this baby with deer all out here within 100 yards. So that's the difference of finesse and strategy. That deer's probably 3, he might be 4, but he definitely needs some years. And he's gonna be a giant next year. So today is day 3 here. We're really starting to get our head wrapped around this place. We just got a couple more spots to kind of figure out and, stake the blind locations. See all the quail? So box here, this gives us access. Egress right here and out and around. We'll pile some of these dead cedars and stuff from that cedar tree over there right around like this, and then we'll put that feeder right down there. So we just wrapped up our first visit here in Kansas. This place is unbelievable. It's got incredible potential. I can't wait to see what happens over the next year. We've got a really good handle on what we're doing, and we're gonna start implementing the plan here early January.